Oregon just shattered its all-time wildfire record, and the fire season is nowhere near done. Right now, 43 uncontained large fires are burning across Oregon and Washington simultaneously. The Pacific Northwest has officially become the nation's most active fire zone as of this morning. Nearly 18,000 firefighters are on the front lines. That's more than a small city's entire population. Here's something that'll stop you cold. One single fire has already crossed state lines into Idaho. Oregon's 2026 wildfire season has burned through 2.3 million acres, a number that rewrites history books. We've got every major fire, every evacuation zone, every road closure, and what's coming next. All right, we've got a lot to get through today, so let's get right into it. Let's start with the biggest story in Oregon, and honestly, the biggest wildfire story in state history. The Big Grass Fire is burning in Malheur County, about 25 miles southwest of Jordan Valley, Oregon. As of this morning, August 13th, Big Grass has scorched an unbelievable 579,361 acres total. It's only 34% contained, and that number is not moving fast enough given what fuels look like out there. This fire just surpassed the 2012 Long Draw Fire, which held Oregon's state record for 14 straight years. Long Draw burned around 558,000 acres. Big Grass has now blown past that by more than 20,000 acres. The fire started July 23rd from a lightning strike, and in its first 2 days alone, it exploded past 280,000 acres. My goodness, that kind of growth in 48 hours is the definition of extreme large-scale fire behavior. Big Grass has since crossed into southwestern Idaho, threatening communities well beyond Oregon's borders. USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey has stated clearly that the weather simply is not cooperating for crews. 989 personnel are assigned, costs have topped $46 million, and fire behavior includes wind-driven runs. Short-range spotting is also being reported, embers flying ahead of the fire and starting new ignitions. For folks in Owyhee County, Idaho, Level 3 Go Now evacuation orders are in effect for multiple zones. That includes Dick Shooter, Triangle Reservoir, Pleasant Valley, South Mountain, and Flint Creek Road. Silver City, Idaho is under a Level 2 B-set evacuation warning. Get your go bag ready right now. If you are in those zones, please do not wait to leave. Do not test the Level 3 order. Now let's move to what fire officials are calling the most dangerous fire behavior in the entire Northwest right now. The Wrights Spring Fire in Klamath County, Oregon. This one has fire managers genuinely concerned. As of this morning, Wrights Spring has burned 52,531 acres, up another 844 acres just overnight. And here's the number that matters most right now. It sits at only 6% contained. 6%. 948 personnel are on scene. That's a surge of 187 people added in just the last 24 hours alone. Fire behavior here is extreme. We're talking crowning, running, and long-range spotting all at once. Crowning, that's when fire reaches the tops of trees and essentially flies from canopy to canopy. Long-range spotting means embers are being carried miles ahead of the main fire front by the wind. Fire officials have described Wrights Spring as one of the most dangerous active fire situations in the Northwest. For Klamath County residents, multiple zones are under Level 3 Go Now orders as of this morning. That includes zones KLA 721, 722, 727, 731, and several others. Check your zone immediately. Approximately 440 homes are currently under Level 3 evacuation orders, and structures have already been destroyed. The Klamath County Board of Commissioners has declared a state of emergency. This is a full crisis response. FEMA has authorized federal funds to support firefighting costs, the seventh such declaration for Oregon this season. The Emergency Conflagration Act has been invoked 12 times this year in Oregon. 12 times. Let that sink in. Sprague River Road is closed from milepost 9 to Sprague River Drive. Avoid this area entirely. 2 MFF's C-130 air tankers from the 302nd Airlift Wing Air Force Reserve out of Colorado have been deployed. If you need livestock evacuation in Klamath County, horses can be sheltered at the Klamath County Fairgrounds. For cattle support, contact Southern Oregon Emergency Aid at 831-235-3031. Call 211 for general resources. Now moving to the Mount Hood National Forest, and this one is alarming for the Portland Metro Corridor. The grasshopper fire had the single biggest growth day in the entire Northwest just yesterday. Let's look at this. In just 24 hours, grasshopper grew by 6,008 acres, bringing its total to 83,619 acres burned. It's only 20% contained, 22 structures have already been destroyed, and costs have hit $42.8 million. 1,771 personnel are working this fire. Oregon Air National Guard members are on their second day of support. They've shifted from protecting individual structures to working active fire lines and conducting mop-up operations. Right nearby, the Austin fire has also ignited in Mount Hood National Forest, 25 miles southeast of Estacada. Austin is at 200 acres and 0% contained, showing uphill runs and long-range spotting behavior. If you are planning any recreation in the Mount Hood area, please check the forest website before heading out. Road, trail, and area closures are in effect across the Mount Hood National Forest right now. Moving to northeast Oregon, the Hagen Fire is burning 26 miles east of Pendleton in the Umatilla National Forest. As of this morning, Hagen has burned 53,306 acres, grown another 2,045 acres overnight, and sits at 11% contained. 996 personnel are assigned, costs are at $30.7 million, and the fire has crossed the North Fork Umatilla River. Highway 244 has been closed due to Hagen. If you travel that corridor regularly, find an alternate route. Nearby, the Paradise Fire, 15 miles south of Pendleton, has grown to nearly 4,000 acres at 0% containment. Both Hagen and Paradise are showing active fire behavior, running, torching, spotting, with evacuations in effect. If you're in Umatilla County, monitor your emergency alert system closely. Conditions here are changing fast. In Central Oregon, the Roe Creek complex across Crook, Jefferson, and Wheeler counties is the most expensive fire here. 373,540 acres burned, 78% contained, but costs have hit $66.2 million and 33 structures have been lost. Nearly 2,900 people remain under evacuation orders tied to the Roe Creek complex. That is not a small number. All right, let's cross into Washington state now. And listen, the story here is just as intense, maybe more so. The Little Giant Fire in Chelan County is the fire to watch most closely right now in the entire Northwest. It's burning 30 miles northwest of Leavenworth in the Okanogan-Wenatchee National Forest. Started July 15th. Since that lightning strike back in mid-July, this fire has never stopped growing. Not for a single day. As of this morning, Little Giant has burned 127,488 acres, up another 5,087 acres in just the last 24 hours. And it sits at only 5% contained. 5% on a 127,000-acre fire. That is a major, major problem. Fire officials report active flanking, group torching, crowning, uphill runs, and long-range spotting all at once. The NIFC situation report lists Little Giant as one of the highest priority incidents in the entire country today. 26 structures have already been destroyed, 2 primary residences, 3 cabins, and 21 outbuildings in Entiat Valley. Thousands more structures are currently threatened. Costs have already hit $45.8 million and climbing fast. The firefighting response here is massive. 2,112 personnel, 47 crews, 69 engines, and 5 helicopters assigned. And they're working in some of the most challenging, steep terrain you'll find anywhere in the Pacific Northwest. Here's where it gets critical for evacuations. The north shore of Lake Chelan, from Deer Point to Safety Harbor Campground, that entire stretch is under Level 3 Go Now evacuation orders. Leave immediately if you are in that zone. South Lakeshore Road from Pyramid Creek to 25 Mile Creek is also under Level 3 evacuation orders right now. South Lakeshore Road from Fields Point to 25 Mile Creek State Park, including Shady Pass, is Level 2 BSET. Chelan County has declared a state of emergency, and the federal government has approved a public health emergency declaration. Chelan and Douglas counties are also under a wildfire smoke and hazardous air quality emergency simultaneously. Sign up for emergency alerts at member.everbridge.net or check the Chelan County Emergency Management website. Moving north in Washington, the Sinlahican Fire is burning 12 miles west of Tonasket in Okanogan County. 152,921 acres burned, 37% contained, costs at $42.6 million, a significant and still active fire situation. The Kaiser Canyon Fire, managed by the Colville Agency Bureau of Indian Affairs, sits 1 mile south of Nespelem. 138,218 acres burned and 74% contained, but 47 structures destroyed, the highest single fire structure loss in Washington. Now, here's something remarkable about the Modoc Fire in Northeast Washington, 17 miles southwest of Inkileum. 240 soldiers from the 1st Battalion, 23rd Infantry Regiment, 7th Infantry Division out of Joint Base Lewis McChord, they've been deployed to help fight this fire. The United States military is now on the front lines of fire season. Modoc is 76% contained at 57,788 acres, but it has destroyed 88 structures, the highest count of any fire in Washington. Now, this next fire is close to Seattle and worth paying close attention to if you're in that metro area. The Three Queens fire is burning 6 miles east of Snoqualmie Pass, right along the I-90 corridor. That's significant. 3,305 acres, 0% contained, with uphill runs, group torching, and short-range spotting all being reported. Evacuations, road closures, and trail closures are in effect. Residents near Snoqualmie Pass, stay alert right now. The Ptarmigan Fire, 20 miles northwest of Mazama, is at 24,000 acres and only 13% contained. The Luna Fire in North Cascades National Park, 10 miles north of New Halem, is at 3,900 acres and 0% contained. The National Park Service has listed the estimated containment date for Luna as November 30th. November. Now let's talk air quality, because even if you're nowhere near a fire, you may be breathing smoke right now. An air quality alert is in effect across eastern Oregon and eastern Washington as of this morning. The National Weather Service says air quality will remain poor to hazardous until further notice in some communities. If you are elderly, pregnant, or have pre-existing respiratory conditions, please stay indoors today. Keep windows closed, run air purifiers if you have them, and wear a KN95 or N95 mask if you must go outside. All right, let's talk about what the weather is going to do over the next 7 days, because this is the critical question. When does any of this get better? And here's the hard truth, straight from the NIFC situation report this morning. The outlook for the Northwest offers very little relief for fire zones over the coming week. Very little. No significant precipitation is in the forecast. There will be some isolated thunderstorms near the Cascades and Olympic Peninsula. But, and this is critically important, these storms are producing little to no wetting rainfall on the ground. What that means is we get the lightning, which can start new fires, without the rain needed to help put existing ones out. That is one of the absolute worst combinations possible for firefighters working on the ground right now. Relative humidity across most of the region will stay between 15 and 35%, still critically, dangerously dry. In the worst areas east of the Cascades, relative humidity could drop as low as 5 to 15%. Let me explain why that matters. At 5 to 15% relative humidity, even light winds can push fire to spread with genuinely dangerous rapid speed. This is exactly why we continue to see crowning and long-range spotting on these incidents across the Northwest. Temperatures will be near or slightly below normal, a marginal improvement, but not nearly enough to change the game. When fuels are this dry and relative humidity stays this low, below normal temperatures just aren't enough. The wetter, more useful thunderstorm activity is forecast to stay south and east, Great Basin, Wyoming, Colorado, the Southwest. Simply not reaching Oregon and Washington fire country. That's the unfortunate reality for the coming week. Here's where it gets interesting in terms of the bigger picture context everyone in the Northwest needs to understand. Oregon's 2026 wildfire season has already broken the all-time state record for total acres burned, nearly 2.3 million. Washington state appropriated $120 million for firefighting in 2026, double the previous year's budget, and the system is still maxed out. The entire country is at National Preparedness Level 5 right now. That's the highest level of wildfire resource mobilization. Nationally, in 2026, 46,636 wildfires have burned more than 6.4 million acres across the United States total. That's 154% of the 10-year average for acres burned at this point in the season. We are well beyond normal. The Pacific Northwest fire season historically runs from June through October. We are potentially still in the middle of this. So here's what to watch in the coming days on each of these major fires. Let's go through them one by one. On Little Giant, can crews hold the 5% containment line with active spotting and crowning in that steep, challenging terrain? On Wrights Spring, watch the south flank. Crews are working to prevent the fire from pushing toward Blind Mountain. Any wind shift on Wrights Spring could change conditions rapidly and push fire into new unburned fuel. On Grasshopper, this was the biggest single-day grower in the Northwest yesterday, over 6,000 acres in 24 hours. Its proximity to the Portland metro area makes Grasshopper one of the most important fires to keep tracking closely. On Big Grass, with no favorable weather window in the forecast, crews are focused on protecting structures and infrastructure. Progress toward full containment on Big Grass will depend heavily on how weather conditions evolve over the next week. And watch for new ignition events. Any dry lightning moving through without rain could start additional fires immediately. Fuels across the Northwest have been documented as extremely dry this entire season. New ignitions remain a serious threat. If you are in or near any of the fire zones, please have your go bag ready right now, tonight, not tomorrow. Know your evacuation zone, know your route out. Do not wait for a level 3 order to start thinking about leaving. Sign up for wireless emergency alerts on your phone. Follow your county's emergency management website for real-time updates. For Oregon fire resources, call 211. For Washington, visit your county emergency management website directly. All fire data in this video is sourced directly from the National Interagency Fire Center, as current as this morning. This is a developing situation across the entire Pacific Northwest, and I will be providing daily updates as conditions change. If this video helped you understand what's happening out there, please give it a like and subscribe right now. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Every share helps get this critical information to someone who needs it. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there, and to every single person on the fire lines, thank you for everything you're doing.